Good evening, friends. Welcome to the official YouTube channel of VS Strategic Business Consulting. I'm very excited today because we would be discussing on, uh, the live experience, and we would be looking at a perspective of a thought leader conversing with the legendary industrialist and a startup mentor, Mr. Rangarajan Sriram. Let me introduce welcome Mr. Rangarajan and introduce him to you. Welcome, Mr. Rangarajan. Thanks a lot for obliging my request and being a part of this series of In Conversation with a Thought Leader. I humbly welcome you to the YouTube channel of VS Strategic Business Consulting. Now, dear friends, Mr. Rangarajan is a veteran. He is an industrialist, has over 32 years of experience covering. He has actually witnessed the evolution of industrial era to technology and information era to an information era and now the digital era. He is an engineering graduate. He's done his engineering in electronics and communication and holds an MBA from New South Wales, uh, from Australia. He is a serial entrepreneur. He is an advisor. He is an angel investor, and he is a startup mentor. He has successfully, you know, uh, 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 mentored over 20 startups, which has graduated to various series of fundings. And currently, he is also a co-founded IT organization specific to healthcare, and is also mentoring digital marketing organization and guiding the entrepreneurs. He is also a visiting faculty to Shastra University. He teaches entrepreneurship, and he is also a senior mentor in Shastra's Incubation Center. He is a regular speaker in various forums like TIE, NASCOM, Entrepreneurs Development Institute, etc. I'm extremely honored as he has obliged this time and is ready to share his insights and his perspectives and help we young entrepreneurs and aspiring leaders to grow in this new digital era. Welcome, sir. Thanks a lot
Good evening. Thank
for
you.
obliging my request. Thank you. So I would like to actually, start the session with few words from your end, where you could actually give us an idea about, your grow, your journey, and I'm specifically intrigued. How a project manager become a serial entrepreneur. I know you have started two organizations, and you have successfully raised the organization from scratch to a multi-billion-dollar as well as multi-locational organization, and now you're on your third stint of entrepreneurial journey. So I'm really intrigued to understand how a project manager moved into becoming a serial entrepreneur, then an investor, then a mentor, a startup mentor. It must have been an exciting and an amazing journey for you, isn't it? So I want you to actually share your, story, how you actually, made this. So I would not use the word diligent, because I'm sure it would have been a huge up and down that you would have witnessed in your journey. But how did you cope up with that? Share that live experience with us, because it could be a great, immense learning for people like me.
Yes, thanks, Venkat. Am I audible?
Yes, perfectly.
Okay. So first of all, thank you for giving this opportunity. Like you said, if I go back a little bit from project manager, if I go 20 years back, I hail from a village near Andavasi. That's where I started schooling, then came to Chennai for my secondary education and tertiary education. But I can tell you very confidently, nothing is designed. Okay. And at the same time, it is not by accident that I'm where I am today. Okay. It's true both ways. Okay. So if I have to directly, take this conversation, have I been destined to become an entrepreneur 20 years ago? No, I don't think so. But have I been planning stage by stage to be an entrepreneur? It's not so. So therefore, the point is, to answer your question, the point is life offers various opportunities at various stages, right? You do your graduation, you end up working for somebody, you scale, and then you look for other opportunities within the organization or look for something else. The aspiration levels, see, there's something called individual aspiration and there's something called organizational growth. Okay, organization also will have to grow, individuals will also have to grow. Okay, when you joined as a project manager or engineer, support engineer, then support engineer to project leader to project manager, you keep on growing. The organization also grows same way. So to narrate my story, each stage, I have always been aspiring to move to the next stage. Okay, always that aspiration levels never died down. What's next? What's next? It's not about what position I'm holding. It's not about how much I'm earning, but the aspirations level never died down. As you can imagine, being from a rural side, studied in Tamil medium, then coming to Chennai to take up the secondary education, tertiary education. It's each and every stage, I've been through a lot of challenges to cope up with the change, from a very quiet village, a comfort living, to coming in a small house, going to school, and then a job, then living in bachelor's accommodation. Each and every stage has been, I would say, very good challenges, good amount of challenges. But the point that I want to drive home is that life offers opportunities every moment. Okay. Just that we fail to miss them. We fail to identify them. Oh, you know what? I have not been identified opportunities. It depends on how much we want to consume, right? How much of opportunities that you want to grab, thrive on, grow from there. Just to let you know, when I was working for a multinational in UK, that is when I was deputed in Australia, I was the only Indian in the senior IT forum.
Okay.
Is that because the way I look, they offered me that position? No. It's because I looked at opportunities. I paved my way to do more. Maybe did some mistakes. Maybe looked upon some inspirations there. So that aspirations levels, seizing the opportunity at each and every stage has been the journey. And then, when I started my first venture in 2002, I jumped into entrepreneurship again by accident. Okay. So nothing is by design. I can guarantee you that. So when I jumped into entrepreneurship, we just one day, one of my few friends, we put a plan and said, hey, let's start. Then we started, we put together a plan. Believe me, in that first venture, we ran it for 3.5 years. We did a massive exit. We were valued very well by a PE, acquired. I did the exit, then went to what we did in the first venture. We did certain right things. Okay. We didn't look for how the result is going to be, but we did certain things very religiously. Hey, am I going to make a big exit? Am I going to make few crores? All that we didn't bother. It was, experience of jumping into entrepreneurship, trying to do everything right, trying to do everything right, try to please everybody, try to post a picture to everybody that, what, hey, I'm an entrepreneur, give me business. Never shy away from moving with people, all of that. I'm a sales guy in my life. Okay. I am very pathetic in selling. I don't think I can convince anybody for selling. But being an engineer, working for a multinational, returning back to India, working for somebody shortly, and then jumping into entrepreneurship. If I look back, I mean, when you ask this question, even if I trace, hey, God damn it, how on earth I did this? But it happened. It's about seizing the opportunity, doing the right thing, and you will end up doing mistakes. Okay, as human beings, we always end up doing commit mistakes. We are designed to make mistakes. It's not that we are very perfect and every single activity that we do is going to result in positive impact or desired results or whatever you call it. But do the right thing. Do the right thing and give your best. I think with few hiccups, people will start graduating to next level. I hope that answers your question.
Pretty interesting. In fact, this is pretty similar to watching some kind of a movie now. You know, individual or a young lad
I'm
coming
not an
from a rural.
actor. I'm not an actor.
I know.
Zero
What
in
I'm
acting.
trying to no, what I was saying is this this is pretty similar to watching a movie, like someone coming from a much rural or an underdeveloped area with some kind of a dream or some passion to prove, has an opportunity, goes to UK or Australia, comes back, starts a company, and becomes big. So that's how I was, on a lighter note, I was saying. But you specifically mentioned about grabbing the opportunity and doing the right things. Can I request you to elaborate on it? How do we identify those opportunities, right? And
See,
what are those right
opportunities.
things?
Yeah, I'll elaborate on that. See, when I can talk about my own experience.
Yeah.
I was offered a position in the UK company. I was in Singapore. Okay,
Uh-huh.
it's a technical services manager in Singapore. I started as myself. That is to begin in my journey in that team, in that technical team. I have to build my team. I have to bring in, set up the process, tell them what they have to do, define the etc. etc. So it was not a very well defined roadmap. So that somebody gave me a red book. In IBM we call it red book. The red
Mm-hmm.
book with every single detail about the roles, responsibilities, the process, the outcome, objectives. Everything will be there. Everything is defined. It was not like that. So seizing the opportunity is nothing but it's you're thrown into something. If you know swimming, you can face the tides, go with full vigor, and face consequences. In the process, you will end up making some mistakes. You have to be very, very conscious about that. Hey, I am taking a bigger league, whereby I will be facing hurdles, both from organization point of view, both from personal point of view. Maybe you your family time may be compromised. Like, for instance, you have to work 12 hours a day, 14 hours a day. So, all those things are there. So, which
Right.
how do you make a balance? How do you strike a balance between all of these things? You have to devote time for your family. You have to deliver something to the office, and still you have to be peaceful internally also. Okay, apart from the other paraphernalia around you, you also have to internally feel, go to sleep peacefully, right? At the end of the day, that's more important.
Right.
When it comes to seizing opportunity, as I said in my earlier question, responding to your earlier question,
Mm-hmm.
opportunity doesn't knock you once. Opportunities knock you every moment. Okay. It's only that we fail to identify those opportunities. Or we limit ourselves and saying that, oh, you know what? This is something which I can't do. I don't have the wherewithal to do this. So seizing the opportunity is keeping your eyes and ears open. This is more so, as an entrepreneur today, after 20 years as an entrepreneur or 18 years as an entrepreneur, when I go make a pitch to a VC or an angel investor, even today, I have to start from the beginning. It's
Right.
not, they're not going to give me credit. Hey, Ranga is there, yeah, good. He has done 2 companies, done 2 exits, great, successful. Let's write a check. That's not going to happen. Okay. So, A is flexibility for you to, I'm using the word Mars here. Mars, I don't know whether in this context is rightly used, but the you have to redefine yourself to the situation and seize the opportunity, give your best, move on into the process. Yeah, as I said, you will make mistakes, you will commit some blunders. Believe me, I have done a lot of, I've got big store of blunders. And, when I look back, oh, no regrets. Uh, I convinced myself after 20 years, hey, it's common to make mistakes. You know? Yeah, I might have made some blunders. It's okay. But life has been very cool. You know, still, I'm still cognitive person. Okay. There are a few people listening to me. So I have a good family. Perfect. So answering your question is that how to seize opportunities. I mean, you be very cautious, very conscious about what you want to do, and be at it. Give your best, and also keep your eyes and ears open always. That's been the my journey. Go back to my Singapore days. I started from scratch, built the team. The company said, "Why don't you move to Sydney?" I took that opportunity. There also, I ended up doing a new project. It's based on your own aspiration levels have to be kept at the top, right? So naturally, you will tend to look at opportunities when your aspiration levels are high. Uh, you'll be driven towards, hey, what next? What next? There's always that question of what next.
I very, I know I need to really let you know that I like the word, the way you use the word aspiration and aspiration. This reminds me of, my discussion with Raja Krishnamurti, who I treat him to be my
Yeah, he's
mentor.
a good friend of mine.
Right.
Yeah, we
So
know
he
each other for
says, yeah, when we were discussing, in one of the points he mentioned, Venkat, I am not an ambitious person. You know, I like to traverse across the opportunities and try to seize the opportunities and do it. So somewhere I'm able to see that link. Not being ambitious but being aspirational. It's a fantastic.
there's two different aspects. See, if I'm
Absolutely.
ambitious, okay, just to bring the context to ambitious, if I have been very ambitious, I could have made money in whichever way that I want,
Right.
right? And I need not have gone through this, the challenges of entrepreneurship, try to raise money 3 times, go big borrow, steal with VC, angels, all that I need not have done. There are several ways that we can make money.
No, I
But
got it. I got it. I absolutely got it. But the thing is, when you use the word aspiration, I was able to recollect my discussion with him. Fantastic, fantastic. This actually reminds me to ask you another question. Just before that, friends, if you have not subscribed to our channel, there's the time you can actually subscribe by clicking the subscription, and don't forget to click the bell icon to receive the notifications, because this series is going to be pretty interesting. Similarly, we would be discussing with many more thought leaders, and it's an excellent learning and uh, platform where we could learn and know the perspectives of different people. Coming back, uh, sir, you specifically mentioned about doing a lot of blunders and everything, and I'm very sure that there could have been a lot of challenges that you would have faced. Would I request you to share your experience with specifically two or one or two challenges that you faced? What were the challenges and what went in your mind, and how did you actually cope up with the challenge and come out of it?
So several challenges to list down. As I said, I will probably take two of my most, big challenges.
Mm-hmm.
See, when we work with a large team, when you try to develop a team of people to work for you
Mm-hmm.
for various functions, um, considerations in terms of identifying a person, right? Hey, he's a right fit for the job. He's not a right fit for the job. I can repose confidence on him. He will deliver. I know he can pull it off. I mean, these things come to our mind. You are right, right? I mean, as an individual, as it goes with you, it goes with me. As human beings, our first flip second, the decision that we get is the right decision.
Okay.
It's not about going through reams and reams of paper, LinkedIn profile, this profile, trying to analyze a person, put a graph, how many tweets he did, how many Facebook likes he did. Oh, that's he's not this. No, 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 that is not going to work. It's not going to work. It's not that way. But I have, in the last at least 18 years of entrepreneurship, I probably might have met some 15,000 people one-on-one to interview, to select for various roles to work for my companies, my first venture. When I say 15,000 people, I might have met them
Right.
one-on-one. I have seen them, interacted with them. Not all of them I hired because I'm not a Fortune 500 company. So, you know, I have actually coined some characterization, some consideration when I select people.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. But I should say, in many cases, that I have miserably failed in identifying a person. Oh, how did I miss? I missed. I failed to look at this guy. He had, two, three weaknesses, or rather, he carries some of the fundamentals that all of us should have. He doesn't have. How did I miss it? There are certain fundamentals that goes with everybody. Call for a meeting at 6 o'clock. I present myself at 6 o'clock. Okay, so it's not 6:05. It's not 5:55. It's 6. Right. Number one. Number two. You commit something. You stand by it.
Right.
Right. You stand by it. And the third, the transparency, the straightforwardness, the you know the openness in which people develop conversation with you. But I must say that challenge, I'm still face the challenge with even in the current journey. What are those characteristics for me to figure out, hey, he's the right fit? Fantastic. Let's go. Even, you take the investment cycle, VCs or angels, and they go, hey, this team is great, man. Let's write a check. They write, but it's a blunder. Finally, they say, hey, you know what? The team didn't pull through. The market was bad. The idea was bad. You put 1,001 reasons and close the chapter. But still, that's one challenge. I am trying to overcome that. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
And I don't think I have mastered the technique of, oh, his eyeballs are good. His nose is very sharp. He is 6 footer. He is short. He is white. So therefore he is good. I don't have that, you know, I don't have the definition for an individual to say, yeah, he's great. Number one, that's a challenge which I personally still trying to figure out. The second challenge is when we work with the team, you know, when I have whether 10 or 20 or 30, 40, this has been the challenge. I'm overcoming it now. People are trying to at least listen to me now because I articulate well, maybe, I don't know. But, you know, just to let you know, when we throw up a challenge, it could be an organizational challenge, it could be a technology challenge, it could be people challenge, it could be anything. You know, when we throw up a challenge to a team, I try to articulate to the team that there are a number of ways to solve a problem. If it's a technical problem, there are 2, 3 ways. If it's a managerial issue, there are 2, 3 options. If it's something else, there are 2, 3 considerations. At least the pathway can be 1 or 2 or 3, whatever the case may be, depending on the particular problem. But then many people try to narrow down to a particular pathway and say, hey, I found a solution. I want to go this way. I want to go this way. They just don't thought process. Oh, let me see whether there are other ways that I can solve the problem, which will be much easier, quicker, and faster, cost effective. What I call this is a shifting perspective. The same problem, you look at it from a different perspective. Solving 20 different problems. I mean, you're solving a problem for an organization, for not for yourself. So you go to a showroom, like a shirt, you go to another showroom, buy another shirt. You may like the dress, shade, everything. There you go, finish. It's just to you. Whereas, when it comes to organization, there are several ways to solve a particular problem. And I think this shifting perspective, looking at from a different vantage point, the same problem, you look at it from a different vantage point and try to arrive at some sort of an amicable solution that will be long lasting, that will be helpful and appreciated. This too, I mean, the second challenge that I have articulated just now, just a minute. The shifting perspective is something which I am kind of, I should say, I'm able to articulate that well with my startups or my mentoring sessions or during my teaching in Shastra. You guys have to, you should not fix your thought process in one direction. You have to shift your perspective, broaden your thought process and look at various options. Then you learn something new. You may end up realizing that, oh, the problem is with me. I have not figured it out. These are the two challenges I'm trying to kind of overcome this in my journey. I wouldn't claim that I have kind of mastered it or so.
I don't know how to thank you, because you have actually spoke about broadening our thought process, being self-aware, and also having that explorative thought process in our
Yeah, I would
one
like
of
to
the
use the
instant
word shifting perspective. It's
shifting perspective.
it's very common. Okay, it may be applicable to even your life experience.
Absolutely. Now, let me ask you this. While you were explaining this, there should have been some instances of someone who would have inspired you. What is that? Who was your inspiration? What inspires you?
Interesting question. Interesting question. So many people have inspired me over the last, from the time I've been a kid, toddler to today. I have to list all those names, but for want of time, starting from my who practiced few things which I observed. Okay, my maternal grandma, who I consider that as my, great inspiration from my childhood days. I used to have a lot of interactions with her, and I have really seen a few things which inculcated certain discipline in me, which I still practice. Okay? For example, compassionate, being very compassionate is something which I got it from her. So there are several people that I can quote, but for anybody, I would say you will have several inspirations in your journey at various stages. But in the last 20 years, I would like to quote this name. One Mr. P.H. Rao, who's an engineer by qualification. He is an engineer like me in Crompton Greece. Spent about 37 years, raised
Okay.
to the rank of president. P.H. Rao. Okay. His, his experience, I can keep on going, but for want of time, he's been a great inspiration, and he's my even now. I run with him certain issues, challenges, and he has a knack of giving me some explanations. And there are cases where, hey, Ranga, you have to live with that. You know, there are something like that. At least what I'm saying is, after spending 30 years in a company like Crompton Greaves, raising to the level of president today, president and retired, leading a peaceful retired life in Chennai, Mr. Rao is still very sharp in his approach as a marketing person. You throw a problem today, even in the digital marketing, this terminology that we use, social media marketing, content marketing, you list all that. He has a knack of articulating your marketing approach. Hey, why don't you try this? He's been a great inspiration for me. I look upon to him I mean, not as my role model. You know, we can't copycat somebody, but I look upon to him for his sharpness in his approach, even today. And just, okay, believe me, hey, Ranga, you show me a product that is saleable, I will tell you how to sell it and grow. Today,
Okay.
so he likes the challenges, you know. He has seen the best of his life. He went to Harvard for his management as part of his tenure in. He's seen everything. He's seen the best, I would say. And he was a CEO of Airtel South India. And when mobile towers were being erected in every single town, he has grown it from 16,000 subscribers to few. He is seen the brick and mortar of sales and marketing to completely digitized sales and marketing today. So he has been a great inspiration for me.
Fantastic, fantastic. I would love to actually, get an opportunity. If I get, it will be
Sure,
great to actually,
definitely,
meet him. Uh,
definitely, definitely.
and I would like to ask you one more thing. Now I'm shifting the gear and going a bit tangent right now. Uh,
I hope there are no out of syllabus questions.
no, 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 no. There is nothing called as out of syllabus, especially in your case when you have seen the whole life, from every aspect. So, uh, the thing is, you are a technology think tank, right? You're a technocrat. You've seen everything. But I also noticed, and when I was actually, trying to do some amount of research on you and read about you, I think you are passionate about building leaders. If I'm not wrong, you're a certified leadership coach specifically on four quadrant leader model,
Exactly,
right?
exactly.
How did this happen? And what is that which drives you? And could you elaborate about what is leadership and what is the importance of leadership in the current situation, specifically when we talk about the post-pandemic or during the pandemic kind of a situation, which the world has never witnessed such kind of a full stop to all avenues or all activities. Suddenly, we have seen this kind of a thing. So, what is leadership? What is the importance of it? How do you see that?
Right. So it's a very complex question. Let me go one by one. Okay.
Yeah.
What is leadership? Leadership, the role leadership, the definition of a leader doesn't change regardless of whichever age, whichever time that you are in. That's okay. Whether you are in stone age now to digital age, leadership is leadership. Because leaders lead, they don't manage. Okay, they don't manage. Leaders look at problems, solve those problems. They look for challenges. They are not complacent. They are not at all complacent,
Okay.
and they are always, try to learn from mistakes, or learn from others, or learn from some successful case studies. Probably a very short and sweet definition of a leader. Coming to 4 quadrant, this is part of my MBA program executive in Australia.
Mhm.
4 quadrant leadership, it's a very nice tool. In fact, it's a tool, life tool, I would say. Everybody can use. It's a 4x4 quadrant. There are 16 quadrants in that, in a square.
Mhm.
And what he has done, he has made an ascending order of 4 quadrants, Q1, Q2, Q3 in the diagonal form. So in a square, you will have 16 small, and in the middle path, from the bottom to Q4. So Q1, Q2, Q3. This 4 quadrant leadership has got few distinct qualities. This model, okay, the model differentiate between the role called manager and the leader.
Mhm.
Are not managers, managers are not leaders. Why? Because leaders lead people.
Okay.
Okay, managers manage things. Okay, clean this room, or take this goods to the other, or plan this event. You manage things. You manage, you chase people, you get things done, you bring resources. It's all managing. When it comes to leader inspires, right? They bring in best qualities to tell the colleagues. So that's why the word colleagues comes. So when
Mhm.
you leader, anybody, I don't say my subordinates or work for me. He was my colleague. Some people take very, Ranga, what is this? 20 years ago I worked, you're still saying he was my colleague. Yeah, you were a colleague. I'm saying you were a colleague. Then you were my colleague. So that doesn't change. The definition colleague doesn't change, regardless that we are in. You may be a VP of a company,
Mhm.
but I have to, respect that you were a colleague of mine.
Right.
So the 4 quadrant leadership clearly distinguishes between manager and a leader,
Mhm.
managing and leading people. Then about these 4 types of leadership.
Mhm.
Okay. Quadrant one, the leader is a controller. In quadrant one, the bottom portion of the quadrant. In quadrant two, the leader is a you know what to say. Mm, they say coach, right? In the quadrant three, the leader is a advisor, partner. In quadrant four, the leader is a facilitator, is a consultant.
Ah, okay.
Okay. So in leadership, when it comes to leadership, what quadrant should I use? That's a key question. Should I
Mhm.
be should I be a coach? Should I be an advisor? Should I be a facilitator, consultant? This question keeps coming in our mind. The model stipulates, gives you some guidelines, and saying when you are using Q1, you are a controller, right? So
Mhm.
let's you are trying to tell something to your toddler, a small kid who does not know this is bad, jumping up there or something like that. The kid may listen to you, you can control,
Mhm.
right? Likewise, if you travel, when you go and tell a colleague of yours who's kind of equally competent or less experienced and say,
Mhm.
don't, he's probably going to look at you as you're a controller. You are not inspiring anything. You are not telling how to execute this efficiently, empathetically. There's no human element there. You get my point?
Correct.
So this this four quadrant leadership is all circling around empathetical leadership, how you inspire your colleagues to do better, what you offer to them, and how do you
Mhm.
identify skills, talent in order to give the right job. See, suppose, as I said in my earlier question when I was answering, how do I identify that right person to work for me? I told you, no, what is that characterization
Right.
which will convince me, hey, he's the right guy, let's go sign up with him. What are those? As leaders, we'll have to look various qualities of individual. Is getting a pedigree from premium institution is a good qualification? I don't know. Okay, with due respects to people who have been to premium institutions, burnt their midnight oil, writing all the competitive exam and stuff like that. I mean, I'm not demeaning that. What I'm saying is, when it comes to leadership, how do you inspire for your colleagues to deliver better results is very important, which is what in four quadrant leadership. In each quadrant that you use, whether it is Q1 or Q2 or Q3 or Q4, you will have to decide as a leader, hey, he doesn't have the skills that I expect him to do. Therefore, I'm a controller. Hey, you know what, Venkat? This is the approach. This is the standard operating procedure. Take this template, execute it, complete the job, give me a Q1. Okay. Then let's go to Q4. Oh, you know what, Venkat? You are completely perfect for the job, man. Okay. I have no problem. You are well qualified. You are the most fittest person. You do what you want. Approach me only when you have problems. See the big difference between being a leader as a controller, leader as a consultant. That's, this offers a great tool. I should say this has made a big impact for me. In
Mhm.
20 years ago, when I was going through course as part of my executive MBA, I as a second psyche, I use this now. I don't say I'm a controller, I'm a coach, advisor, consultant, but I have got this practice. I always do. In some time, I want the results to be of this nature. Therefore, I'm a controller. Period. So, so
Obviously.
there is no, is Q1 right, Q2 right, Q3 right, Q4 right? There's nothing of that sort. It depends on a particular situation. It depends on the people that you're dealing with. It depends what results that you want to be delivered.
Mhm.
So it's combination of all this lead to how do you apply this quadrant and practice it and inculcate this across to your colleagues. I mean, four quadrant, somebody gets really wary. Hey, some model, girdle, I don't know. I have to
I know.
study, read some paper. But I took maybe 5 minutes or so to explain this. It's very simple. Of
Yeah,
course, we through a big workshop and we did a lot of work. But I've a capsule form of what is four quadrant leadership.
it's fantastic. In fact, thank you for that. Because this reminds me of one of the workshops which I had attended. I attended to Grid Model, Grid Leadership Model from Grid International. So it is also pretty similar. It has the squadrons, and we talk about different styles of leadership from 1-1 to 5-5 to 1-9 to 9-9. Now, the model of facilitation and empowerment comes in the 9-9, and how what are the different styles? And I think it resonates. It resonates. So,
Yeah, there are various models. I mean,
yeah, it resonates pretty well.
we like changes, as human beings, we don't want to go with same thing. We
Mhm.
need new jargons, we need new models.
Yeah, what I really liked about the four quadrant, because while I was reading through your, different posts, and I was trying to understand your style before approaching, right? So I have to do my basic homework before I
Okay.
approach veterans like
So you
you.
did a lot of profiling on me.
I wouldn't say profiling. See, thing is, I have to be self-aware while I'm speaking to people like you, right? I need to speak in that. If not, I have not grown there. I have to learn and grow there. So before coming there, I need to do my homeworks.
Correct.
In that aspect is what I'm talking about. So I did read a bit about four quadrant, not in detail, but I did read about a bit. It resonated pretty well with me because because of the grid model, and as well as the new I wouldn't call a model, but a kind of a framework. Uh, I'm trying to help Raja Krishnamurti in one of his models. He has a model, and it's just pretty close. He speaks about these aspects. Fantastic. Now, my next question is, now considering this dynamic changes that we are noticing, you would have certainly witnessed from the industrial era to information technology to intelligence or the digital era that we are in today. The technology is changing very fast. Today, we talk about a particular tool and there is an upgrade which comes in. Similarly, the business models are also changing. Previously, it was one-on-one and then B2C or B2B or C2C kind of a model. Today, we are talking about everything on digital, right? So everything is happening, be it on cloud technologies, we're talking about platform as a service and everything. The business models have changed, and political situations are changing, regulations are changing. And this one pandemic called as COVID-19, it ruled out everything. Everything it put into a stop.
Say
I
that.
want to understand. I want to understand from experienced, renowned people like you, what is crucial in leadership or any business leadership to handle that kind of a situation? What kind of planning, what kind of thought process need to go, and how should the new age era leaders or upcoming leaders or people who want to develop themselves come out with an option or a plan to tackle these kind of things, and how should they actually cope up with this so that it does not impact their overall purpose or their overall goals in their life as well as for their organization.
As I said earlier,
Mhm.
the definition of a leader doesn't change regardless of the time that we are in. Okay.
Hmm.
Provided with a lot of tools. 20 years ago, for you to prepare an annual budget, it might have taken 3 days, four
Mhm.
days.
Right.
I don't know, week. I mean, there are times in P&O when I was working in Australia, budgeting is a big exercise. We used to do for weeks. And then at the year end, you know, it's always a fun.
Mhm.
Again, anyway, what I'm coming to drive at is at the various technology development growth, we are given with lot of tools.
Mhm.
Uh, Now with the AI, you can compare 5 years of budgeting and come out with a better planning. You can do that. Okay. You can just give an input to your AI engine.
Mhm.
There, I don't know. Somebody has developed something. I don't know. But you can give, hey, you know what, 2015, my budgeting was this much. With 2020, what should be my, deployment towards marketing, deployment towards capital. The AI engine may call out all the details, come out with a nice graph, can do that. But then human element has not changed. We are human. We have two arms. We have 2 ears, one nose, one head. We have to perform our activity. That has not changed. I, Second, the organization functioning also hasn't changed. If you take, maybe we have tried and automated many things.
Mhm.
You don't have to go to the bank. So there's no work for the teller. You can do everything online. There's very little exposure for anybody to go to the bank. Good. But then human element hasn't changed according to me. Okay. You have to perform certain set of tasks. If you want to run an organization, you have to deliver your services or products to your customers, right? And that has to carry some quality, price points, after sales support, growth, profitability, and also support your investors. Coming back to meeting all your compliances such as IT, PF, and so on and so forth. Okay, that's not going to change. That's going to remain, and the fundamentals are going to remain as is. Right? Company has to make profits. Company has to work for investors. Company has to take care of their customers. The organization structure per se, right? I don't think it will change drastically. A company should have a CEO, company should have a CFO, or CFO, CEO, maybe same person may perform the role, but then there should be a role. Say person will perform the role, but there will be two roles. When he goes and does some finance work, he's a finance guy. He's not a CEO, right? So therefore, in the modern times, for a leader, I don't think the fundamentals have changed, in my opinion.
Okay.
Right? You have to inspire your colleagues. You have to learn, and you have to learn. Okay? There's no stoppage on learning anything. If you take my case, as early as last February, I was on a 12-day workshop, which was about digital architecture. I sat class for 12 days, 2.5 hours per day. I sat through the class. Although I know enterprise architecture, I was certified 5 years ago. I wanted to see what is this digital architecture, some digital and all that. So I sat through. I learned something. So regardless of the time we are in, regardless of pandemic, non-pandemic, everything hanky-dory, no problems, so many business. Leadership definition will not change, and it should not change. Fundamentals are the same. Therefore, my point for the current, I'm not giving a recipe, by the way. Okay, there's nobody who can give a recipe to a particular problem that we are facing today. So I put that disclaimer. One, I would say you have to give the best to what you're doing. The second, everything requires quality time. There's nothing comes so easily here. Okay. And I'm sure you've read about Malcolm Gladwell, that's 10,000 hours. Yes. You know that, right? Yeah. So 10,000 hours, if you have to learn something, you have to invest that amount of time, money. There is no way that you can short circuit that. If I want to be a master in some area, suppose if I go back my 18 years of entrepreneurship, if you give me a business plan, I'm not boasting, it's a second psyche. If you give me a business plan, some 10 slides, 12 slides, I will take exactly 3 minutes and tell you some 10 bullet points about the business plan. Because I've seen so many business plans, I've been to exercise, I spent that amount of time. It has not come, like a jiffy from the blue. Hey, I looked at the blue sky, that skill came to me. No. You have to put your quality time. You have to work. So that has not changed. Again, to answer your question very straight, leadership hasn't changed much. In fact, the leadership qualities have to be shown: perseverance, resilience, ability to face the challenges with much vigor, have to be shown during this time rather than normal time, right? So to summarize, for anyone aspiring to be a leader or to become an entrepreneur or to scale up in their career path within their organization. I've been a manager. I want to be a general manager. No general manager, straight to vice president and president. Aspirations have to be there. Then only it can grow. Then only the world can grow.
Right.
Right? We need aspirations. We need aspiring people. Then only the organization also will go. I mean, if some 20 people are there, oh, I'm fine with what I'm earning. I have no problem. I come at 9 o'clock, leave at 4 o'clock. I'm happy with my earning. Organization will not grow. Individual will not grow. That will go for a toss. So the learning and perseverance and that fear of failure should not be there. That should be erased. Okay.
Okay.
Many people I come across, I mean, they jump into entrepreneurship, they put out a solution, and it's a. By the way, I can tell you with conviction that entrepreneurship is not bed of roses. Huh? You'll go through nightmares. Okay, unless you're committed, unless you are really cut out to do that, it's extremely difficult. Okay, extremely difficult. I can tell you that, my personal experience. Okay, but at the end of the day, do I have any regrets? No, absolutely not. I'm fine. I enjoy what I do. Okay. When I go to sleep, I sleep well.
Beautiful. Beautifully explained. Thank you. Thanks a lot. I think in a nutshell, your advice, or I would say the pointers that you would give is, don't have the fear to fail, have perseverance, have your goal, do the best, keep learning, and be happy, is what you're trying to
Never
mention.
stop learning. Okay. Learning does, if learning stops, we cease to exist. I can tell you that. The day we say, oh, I don't know, I don't want to learn, I don't want to read as much as you can, learn new skills as much as you can within the area domain that you are in. I mean, obviously, you can't go out to design a rocket, right? If you're not a rocket engineer, if you're not a drone engineer, within the domain that you're in, within the skills that you've built so far, never ever stop learning. Never ever broaden your thought process to look around and see what development, what changes have taken place, what developments are taking place, or what the future is going to offer for the next 5 years or so. This never should be stopped.
Fantastic. Fantastic. Beautifully mentioned. Thanks a lot. Thanks a lot. Uh, with respect to the timing, I think we have come to the uh, exact time, and I think it was having a time constraint. Otherwise, I would have extended this discussion. Probably, I would come
I
back
think we are
to
fine.
again for one more session on specific questions with respect to a couple of areas, specifically
Okay.
on the four quadrant leadership aspect of it. I might come and disturb you again and ask you for your time.
Four quadrant is like a buzzword. You'll keep going over your mind. Hey, what is this four quadrant? It's very interesting.
Yeah,
It is very
I'm
interesting.
actually very passionate about the term leadership. I agree with your point that too many models or too many frameworks people talk about, but ultimately it comes down to a specific few qualities and aspects. But I like the idea, the way people have actually visualized it and came out with a framework.
Oh
It
yeah.
gives a tremendous insight and perspective about this aspect.
It's a great tool. I would say it's a fantastic tool. I sometime unconsciously I've used it, but I said even with colleagues who are equally my age, my experience, I've been a controller. I said, hey, nothing doing. This is how it is. Get on with it and do it. Sometimes I'm right. Sometimes I've been made blunders. But then this judgmental about where to use which quadrant is a good tool. It's a very good tool. It gives you that conscience as to, hey, I'm giving this work to him. Should I give him the full authority to execute, or should I tell him, no, 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 this is what the result should be. This is how the outcome should be. I want you to complete within this time frame, and this is the cost. So what do which quadrant should I use? So that way, I think this tool has helped me a lot. What I mean, as a leader over the last 20 years or so, having to deal with different personalities from different, religious background, their family background, language, all of that. That has helped me a lot, I should say.
Fantastic. I think I will certainly, take your time again in the near future and schedule one specific session on it. Uh, so thank you. Thanks a lot for your time, sir. Before signing off, I would like to thank all my friends, participants. If you have any questions or any queries, feel free to comment or send me an email, and I would certainly connect with Ranga and respond, assure you of the response to the questions. And from everyone, and specifically, thank you very much, sir.
Thank you,
And
thank you,
looking
Venkat.
forward, looking forward
I
to
hope
with you again.
you're destined to write some book and blogs and all that. So when you write something about me, be very moderate. So
No, I would certainly, in fact, I would need your help at that point in time. So we would certainly get in touch on that aspect.
thank you very much. I really
Thank
enjoyed.
you, sir. Thanks a lot for you.
Yep. Thank you. Thanks for your time.
Thank you, sir. Thank you.